Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing our deep dive into this Colorado program heading into the 2024 season. We took a look at the offensive line, took a look at the defensive line. Now we're taking a look at the offensive skill positions heading into that 2024 year. I'm going to go over what I think the depth chart is going to look like. I'm going to give you guys some of my predictions on leading rusher, leading receiver for this offense heading into that 2024 year, and talk a little bit about what we saw from this unit in 2023 as well. Extremely excited to get into this one. There is a ton of talent that is going to be around one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Sheduer Sanders. And if you're a Colorado fan, you can pass protect for Sheduer Sanders, let him go to work with the amount of talent that he's going to be surrounded by. This is an offense that I really think takes the next step in 2024. Really excited to get into it. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys in between covering this program in the transfer portal, talking about this team in terms of deep dives into position groups. The amount of support the Colorado fans have shown the boys truly means a lot. Cannot thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And more importantly, would love to hear from you guys. I'm going to give you guys my leading receiver, leading rusher. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. We'll make our predictions, chop it up there. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. And without further ado, let's get into this one. I want to start at the quarterback spot and talk about what we saw from Sheduer Sanders in 2023 and then what we expect to see from Sheduer Sanders in 2024. And the first thing I want to start out with is Sheduer Sanders. When you saw him with a clean pocket, stepping up, delivering footballs, that is one of the more talented arms that you see in the country. You see it on the film, then you go look at the numbers. Sheduer Sanders, when kept clean last year, completed almost 77% of his footballs for 2,500 yards, 19 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Incredible numbers when kept clean. Again, some of those numbers are the best in the country. And then you take a look at where this offense struggled with the most, and I don't think this is a secret to Colorado fans. He was sacked 10.5% of the time. And I think there's a blend. Obviously, this offensive line needs to take that step, but you did see Sheduer Sanders hold on to the football a little too long at times. And I think when Coach Prime made an emphasis on cleaning up that offensive line, we talked about what they did in the transfer portal. You get year two Sheduer Sanders in this Colorado offense. Maybe the processing goes a little bit faster. If Colorado can avoid taking the amount of negative plays that they took in 2023, stay on schedule a little bit more, you're going to see this offense absolutely explode. Again, Sheduer Sanders' numbers on the year, 3,200 yards, 27 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, completed almost 70% of his footballs. You're talking about truly a special quarterback that has the arm talent to throw it all over the yard, make every single throw that is available in the playbook, keep him clean with the amount of talent that he has. That is how this Colorado offense takes that step in 2024. Moving on to another position group that I'm really interested in for this Colorado program heading into that 2024 year, and that's the running back group. This was an offense that only averaged 2.3 yards per carry. That was 133rd in the country. You look at the problem. Again, I don't think the problem was the running back room. I think the problem was much more on that offensive line. And that offensive line, if it takes a step, which we expect it will, with guys like Tyler Johnson joining the offensive line, you look at this running back room, and I think you're really excited about the talent and depth that you have. A guy like Alton McCaskill, who was a true freshman All-American in 2021, tears his ACL, misses the 2022 season, really doesn't play much in the 2023 season as he's kind of rehabbing that knee. This is the year. I think Coach Prime kind of made Alton McCaskill take it really slow in 2023, kind of shut him down midway through the season so he could be 100% heading into that 2024 year. If you're asking me who the leading rusher is for Colorado in 2024, I'm going Alton McCaskill because I remember what he was like as a true freshman for the Houston Cougars in 2021. But he's not really the only guy, because I'm going to point to another guy that is extremely exciting for me, and that's Dylan Edwards. This is a guy that was a true freshman last year, I think forced into a heavy workload, a surprisingly heavy workload as a true freshman. This is a guy that has game-breaking speed, right? One of the fastest players in that 2023 class, and you saw it on full display. And I think Dylan Edwards getting another year to put a little bit more weight on, get that body ready for the college level. You're looking at Dylan Edwards taking a massive step. This is a guy that, again, one of the fastest players on the field, also phenomenal out of the backfield, 36 catches on 50 targets last year for Dylan Edwards. Alton McCaskill, I think, is going to be the lead rusher in this offense. I think he ends the season with the most receiving yards or rushing yards, excuse me. But I think you get Dylan Edwards involved a lot in a lot of different ways. And you have a guy like Savion Wilkerson as well. So you're really confident and comfortable with those three running backs. And then you take a look at the pass catchers that are going to be around Sheduer Sanders. Want to start with the guys that we had back in 2023. Travis Hunter, obviously headlining this group. Really interested to see how much Travis Hunter plays wide receiver in 2024. I suspect a lot. Travis Hunter was phenomenal as a wide receiver. I don't think enough people were talking about how good he actually was as a wide receiver. I feel like everyone's talked about how impressive it was that he was playing both ways. You take a look at some of the numbers. He had 0 drops in 2023. He had a 78% completion percentage when targeted in 2023. This was a guy that you saw him create separation. You saw him create after the catch. All those things that you covet at the wide receiver position, Travis Hunter put on full display in year 2, playing both ways for this Colorado Buffaloes program. That was one of the most impressive seasons that I've seen from a college football athlete in a very long time. And what you're most excited for is, what does it look like year 3? Again, it's hard to believe, but that was year 2 for Travis Hunter in college football. And he was banged up most of year 1 at Jackson State. So what does it look like year 3 after having another full offseason? That's probably what excites you the most. Another guy that I thought was extremely impressive and kind of had maybe a little, you want to see a little bit more consistency from, but you saw some really good flashes. That's Jimmy Horn Jr., a guy that you take a look at the numbers, 58 catches, 566 yards, 260 plus of those yards came after the catch. This is a guy that is Sheduer Sanders' best friend when it comes to getting the football out quickly to a wide receiver that can create in space. And so you have a guy like Travis Hunter who can create. You have a guy in Jimmy Horn Jr. who can create. And then I want to start talking about some of these wide receivers that I'm the most excited about that are coming in the transfer portal. And I want to start with former Vanderbilt wide receiver Will Sheppard, who I think is just kind of flying under the radar a little bit. I mean, the 12th best receiver that was available in the portal, you're talking about a guy that caught for over 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns the last 3 seasons in the SEC on a team that flat out stunk on offense. Well, Will Sheppard was the guy when Vanderbilt's offense was playing good football. It was because Will Sheppard had the football in his hands. This is a guy that I think balances out Travis Hunter and balances out Jimmy Horn Jr. extremely well, as a guy that's going to be on the boundary, that can attack the deeper third, make defenses, kind of have a presence down the field. And so you ask me who I think the top 3 wide receivers are in this offense in 2024. I'm probably going Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Will Sheppard. And you sprinkle in a guy like Amarian Miller, who's coming into year 2. Very excited about him. Next guy I want to mention here is LeJontay Wester. This is a guy that kind of reminds you of Jimmy Horn Jr. coming from USF last year in terms of undersized wide receiver that can create after the catch. This was a guy that caught 108 passes for 1,100 yards in 2023. Undersized like Jimmy Horn Jr., but a guy that can create separation and then make people miss after the catch. Those are skill sets that in this Colorado offense is extremely coveted. I think LeJontay Wester, Jimmy Horn Jr. are 2 guys that are probably going to be playing a lot of slot wide receiver that are going to be getting open and really becoming Sheduer Sanders' best friend. You have Draylon Miller coming in as a true freshman. You have Cam McKell coming in as a true freshman. Last guy I want to talk about here is Cordell Russell coming from TCU, another guy that just from physical trait standpoint is extremely special. Now he's 6'4", 210 pounds. Hasn't gotten on the field much for TCU, but this is a guy that you just got to look at him and look at the body and look at the athleticism and say, yeah, that's a guy that could break out in this Colorado offense in 2024. And I think when it comes down to it, how I evaluate this wide receiver room is you have a lot of wide receivers that can do a lot of different things. Right, you have your bigger body guys, Cordell Russell, Will Sheppard, that are going to be working vertical, be guys that can attack the deeper third, let Sheduer Sanders push the ball down the field. You have guys like Jimmy Horn Jr. and LeJontay Wester who are going to be guys that are creating separation underneath and then creating after the catch. And then you have an all-around freak show of an athlete in Travis Hunter, who's just going to be doing everything for this Colorado offense. You look at the amount of talent that's in this wide receiver room. I think it's going to be Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Will Shepherd to be your kind of starting your core 3 wide receivers. But you're talking about Sprinkle and Amara and Miller, who flashed in a big way. You're talking about true freshman Draylon Miller, who I think has Deebo Samuel kind of traits. You're talking about Cordell Russell, LeJontay Wester, Tremont Metter coming over in the tight end position. A lot of different playmakers that do a lot of different things in an absolutely loaded Colorado offense. If this is an offense that can keep Sheduer Sanders clean, get that run game going just a little bit more, you're looking at an offense that's going to be extremely exciting in 2024. Very excited about it. We'll continue to talk about how this wide receiver room shakes out during spring ball. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.